I'm Crickets, and welcome back to I Have a Story. While I'm finishing up my segment here about passing of my grandparents and talking about how nothing in my life can just be naturally painful, people have to try to make it as painful as they possibly can, and always seem to succeed. I talked about how I couldn't be there for my grandma. And not long after my grandma passed away, I finally divorced my first wife and had enough because so much had taken place, so much. In part, leading into this story, so much. I mean, even obviously I've talked about it with my mom and I've talked about it with my ex. Well, they both decided to hit me again at my grandpa's passing. I was always there for my grandpa. And I felt horrible after my grandma passed away. And even at times when I was homeless and was living in my car, I always parked it near his house because one day I went over to his house and found him laying on the floor of the bathroom. He didn't call 911 and hit his emergency button because he didn't want the neighbor seeing ambulances pulling up in his driveway, and he was embarrassed by it. So he said, I know you're coming, I'll just wait for you, Jason. And he just laid there and waited for me. So then I got him a cell phone. I was able to get him a cell phone on a government-assisted plan, and it didn't cost anything. And said, Grandpa, you don't lay on the floor and wait for me, you call me. So I'd get calls at 2 o'clock in the morning and go over and pick him up off the floor and take care of him. Nobody else in my family was there for my grandpa but my mom and I. And my mom couldn't even be there as much as she wanted to because her husband wouldn't let her. I hate calling him my dad. I hate that word. Honestly, my entire life to where it's led to today, I hate the word mom and dad. I hate it. It causes nothing but severe pain because I don't even get to be a dad. And that was the only thing that kept me out of all that pain, to make it as positive as I could, to be not like those people to my kids. It was sad even sitting there watching my grandpa dying, and my mom, I mean, God, my parents, they had no courtesy for anybody's feelings, for anybody, period. My grandpa's laying in a hospital bed dying, and my mom's on the phone fighting with his cell phone, or he had a home phone, his home phone company, which was AT&T, and fighting with them to shut it off because she didn't want to have to pay a $40 bill, because that'd just be, oh my God. Always so worried about fucking money. God, I'm so sick of it. And sat right in front of him and fought for like an hour with AT&T over shutting his phone off. He doesn't need it. I'm not paying for it. They're going to charge us. We're not paying. What about my grandpa who's laying there dying? You think he wanted to sit there and listen to it? No, he literally gave up and he squeezed my hand and passed away. He didn't want to sit there dying and listen to that. Go out in the hallway. Go somewhere else. Wait. Why does it even have to be right now? Why are you so worried about having to spend a frickin' dollar every day of your life? That's all they care about. I'm so sick of it. Money, money, money. Hate it. I hate it. Burn it all. Nothing but pain and misery is what it causes. Well, at least when you live a life like mine with the people in it who are in it, right? And being a person who put people before money, put morals before money. So then after my grandpa passed away, I had two real hard, actually more than two. I mean, there were several. One, I was in physical condition that at the funeral, I couldn't carry my grandfather's coffin. And I was just irate sitting there not being able to do that, and then watch the people who weren't there for him stand there with pride and honor and care. Oh, we cared so much about Grandpa that all we did was use him. And that's all my family did, was use him, besides my mom and I. My sister used him, my sister's husband used him, my dad used him, my brother used him. But nobody was there for him except for my mom and I. And even again, I've talked about it, being broke, not having any money, not being able to eat, not having gas to put in my car. My grandpa would try to give me money for coming over and helping him. I'd stash it all over his house because I didn't feel right taking it. Family does not pay family to help each other. You're supposed to just be there for each other, and he was there for me as a kid. And if he wouldn't have been, I probably would have turned into my brother. Speaking of which, was one of the reasons I couldn't go either. My brother is an absolute... You watch Menace to Society? My brother's life makes Menace to Society look like an after-school special. And that is not a freaking joke. He is the absolute most ruthless, evil person you will ever meet. I'm scared to even tell you what I know about him because I'm scared of the repercussions that it ever come back on me. Killing babies and beating women and, I mean, all of it. It's disgusting. It's horrid. How many bodies he's left? I don't know. How many people have come after me over the years because I'm just equated to him as his brother and he screws people over and people come after me and start shit with me and then he's coming over starting stuff and wanting me to get involved in all of his mess and I can't. And at the time I met what I thought was an honest, straight Christian woman to find out she was actually just as much of a freaking devil herself. Go back and watch all my Series 1 videos of I Need Help. And you listen to the recordings, you can't deny it. And I didn't want him ruining that. And if I had cut him out of my life for 8 years, I changed my number and I moved and I hid from him for 8 years because I had to get it out of my life. And I didn't want it destroying my new one that I'm trying to build. Because that's all I ever wanted was a wife and children. That's it. Everything else meant nothing to me. And the world means nothing to me without it. And if I saw my brother, he's going to force his way into my life. That's what he does. He will not stop. He's ruthless and he will get angry, violent, and everything else. There is no stopping him. You cannot tell him no. Nobody can. And I wasn't going to let it destroy my life again. But I still was eating it and I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I got to be there. But then something else happened. The funeral was actually on my day with my oldest boy. My mom would not answer my calls, would not tell me when the funeral was, when any of the arrangements were taking place. Nothing. She would not tell me. So then just days before the funeral, my ex calls me and says, the funeral's at this time, or she starts talking about the funeral and I didn't know when it was. What do you mean you don't know when it was? Your parents don't bother even telling you. They told me apparently they like me more than you and did all this right in front of my son. And just totally put me down and then told me I'm not taking my son to my grandpa's funeral because apparently my family doesn't care enough about me to tell me when it is or even to show up or when anything is happening. And my mom never, ever, ever answered my call or told me, but yet managed to talk to my ex several times about it. Several times, but wouldn't talk to me. Why, Mom? Why? You tell me why. Why don't I mean shit to you ever since I was a child? What did I ever fucking do to you? Oh, I was born. That's your fault. I wish you'd have never done it. Because look at the hell you fucking created, all of you. So after putting down and getting put down for several days leading up to the funeral by my ex, your parents don't like you, they just fuck you, and that's all I got from her in front of my son. So no, I couldn't go. Screw this, I can't be with these people. I can't. And then they want to put me down. You were the one who weren't there for his funeral. Well, I was the one who was there for him when he was alive. What do you think makes more sense? The people who made his life better while he was alive, or the people who showed up hoping to get what? An inheritance? None of you gave a shit when he was alive, but you all cared so much the day he died, right? And I couldn't face it. I could not face it. I couldn't face seeing my son sitting with my ex. I couldn't see my family who just did it again after 40 plus years of it, doing it again. I'm going to tell people, you don't ever, I don't care, family's family, you don't take your ex's side, your children's exes, or your family members' exes over your family. that happened to one of my ex-wives, but that was because it was what she did to her family and did to him and did to the kids, and it was all her fault to what she did. But you still don't take the other person's side. That's not what family's all about. But we don't know what family is anymore. It's all about me. What makes me happy? Screw y'all.